Hey, what's up? It's Jim, and I just got back from the new film, The Dark Knight Rises. Is the conclusion of Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy. It's been 8 years since the events of the last Christopher Nolan Batman film, The Dark Knight, and Gotham has passed the Harvey Dent law that, I'm not sure exactly how it works, but it stops organized crime, and Gotham has had a wonderful 8 years of prosperity and very little crime. And Batman, who is blamed for Harvey Dent's killings, has disappeared, and Bruce Wayne is in exile for these 8 years. Until Bane, and Catwoman kind of, but she's not called Catwoman, played by Anne Hathaway, and she comes and tries to steal pearls that were his mother's, and he catches her, and that kind of entices him back. So he comes back as Batman to fight Bane, and then Bane takes over Gotham for like 90 days with a nuclear bomb, and then cuts off all the bridges so nobody can leave Gotham, and if they do, he'll set off the bomb. And he fights Batman, and Batman has to stop Bane, I guess. I don't want to give too much away. And I really just saw this on the first day because I was like, well, I want to go to the IMAX. I love the Lincoln Square IMAX. I heard The Dark Knight was amazing there, so I was like, well, I have to see The Dark Knight Rises. I love seeing Ghost Protocol there. And I actually saw a preview to The Dark Knight Rises before Ghost Protocol. And I have to say, which was the opening scene where Bane gets he's in a plane, and then another plane kind of plane jacks his plane and gets him out of there. That sequence was a lot better in this film than when I saw Ghost Protocol, and I really thought, hey, maybe this film will get better. And I'm at the IMAX. I actually was really up front, but I could see everything, and it was just like awesome, the seat I had. And I thought, after I saw this plane, I remember the shot, and you see like Bane's tied to the thing, and you see the rest of the plane drop, and you see it fall. And I thought, wow, wouldn't it be cool to see that plane like fall all the way to the ground and like explode, or, you know, just crash or something. And then they cut. So it's like 165 minutes. It really, actually, I thought it was rather exciting. I wasn't bored. I never felt that he loved Batman. You know, like the design of the suit, I never liked. I think it's ugly. Like, it looks like he has like an alien cone head or something. He wants to make Christopher Nolan action movies, but he's not as into making a Batman movie, doing a superhero character in a trilogy. These are not characters that are trilogy characters. This isn't like Star Wars. These are comic book characters who have a bazillion, especially Batman, who has a bazillion stories. He has so many stories. And whether it's X-Men or Spider-Man or Batman, they're not the kind of characters that, you know, fight 3 villains or what ends up being like 5 villains, because after the first one you gotta have 2 in each one. Squishing these characters into a trilogy is really kind of stupid. Whereas these should really be kind of like James Bond franchises where you can go on and on and on and keep making adventures. And Batman never stops. I don't buy that Batman would retreat for 8 years. A lot of the motivations for people like Batman and Alfred are really off from what the characters really are. I understand the term different interpretation, but at a certain point, are you even using the same character? Like, why change things about a character to fit your own bullshit? And I think Chris Nolan, I don't really get that he loves comic books. I think that he loves making big movies. He's just mushing this into what he wants as a director, rather than really doing a faithful kind of Batman movie. You know, I didn't really like what they did with Bane. I kind of did at the beginning, and I was all right with the interpretation, I guess. To me, Bane always felt very personal. I did read the storyline with Bane where he breaks Batman's back. I was a kid. I collected those comics. I read all of them. And it never felt as scary as that. Like, I remember, like, Bane, like, he takes his knee, and that shot, I will always remember when Bane broke Batman's back. And in this, the fight with Batman and Bane was really not very well choreographed. It wasn't earth-shattering. The fighting wasn't epic enough, and especially in a year that I've seen The Raid and Haywire, which have these amazing fight sequences and like so well choreographed and so well shot, and it's like, where is Wally Pfister right now? Like, can't you shoot me an awesome fight sequence? And all the fight sequences with Bane, they were all right, but they didn't have me thrilled at the choreography or something. That's what I want from a fight with Bane. I want an epic fucking fight. This is the big conclusion. I want a fight that I can be like, oh my god, that's like some Bruce Lee shit. Like, that's Batman, you know what I mean? I did kind of like Selena Kyle. I liked Anne Hathaway. I actually liked their parts where you actually saw her thinking, which is like a kind of an old silent film thing. Like that's how Felix the cat, you knew if he was thinking because they had a shot of him thinking. And in this, I see her thinking, and I actually kind of related to her character more, you know, although she was a little more morally ambiguous than a lot of the other characters. How her and Bane, I thought they fit together a little better than most of the two villains I've seen in Batman movies. Usually it's a little clumsy and you're like, why would Two-Face and the Riddler? I don't know if that would really work. Joseph Gordon-Levitt was really good. I think he is one of the standouts. Him and Anne Hathaway are kind of a lot better. Christian Bale I liked more than I usually do in the other Batman films. I wish they gave Gary Oldman more to do, but it's like, you know, he can't do his subtle Tinker Tailor things in this Batman movie. Alright, I'm going to do spoilers. If you haven't seen Dark Knight Rises, don't watch past this part. If you don't care, hey, that's your own thing. I'm sure you've seen it. The thing's going to make like a couple $100 million at least. Towards the end, when you start learning the twists, there's a twist in it where you find out that Marion Cotillard's character is Thalia al Ghul, Raja al Ghul's daughter. And you find out that Bane wasn't behind the whole thing, he's just kind of a lackey. When I first heard this when I was watching the film, I went, oh shit, I did not see that coming. And then I thought about the ramifications that twist would have on the entire movie. So Bane is a stupid lackey like Batman and Robin again. We still can't get Bane right. I mean, I didn't love the interpretation before, and I was kind of like alright with Tom Hardy in the role, but as soon as I find out that him and Thalia al Ghul have this kind of like weird relationship, I guess, because he saved her from this prison. And then, much like in The Dark Knight, where we kind of just waste Two-Face, who's a great villain, they do the same thing with Thalia al Ghul, who probably could have been a cool villain, but we don't really get much time with her. And then after that, it was like any of the suspense and fear I had with Bane, which wasn't that much, was gone. And then when Selena Kyle just shoots him and he's dead, and when I was riding home on the subway, I was like, wait, how did Bane die? Like, it's probably like a really epic thing. And I'm like, why am I blanking on this? That was so anticlimactic. Joseph Gordon-Levitt plays John Blake, who's like a really good police officer who I like throughout the whole film. I actually like the character, but then at the end of the movie, they think Batman's dead. He's not, which was meh. And, you know, they do the whole let's rip off True Lies thing, but without the kiss, so it's like less interesting. Bruce Wayne is dead and they're giving off all his money and all this stuff. He goes, you know, I'm here to pick up the thing, and go, oh, here's my ID, but, you know, that's my birth name. And I go, oh, you should use it because it's so pretty. Robin. Robin's name isn't Robin, it's Dick fucking Grayson. Like, you could have picked, there's 3 Robins you can pick names for, and you didn't pick any. His name isn't Robin. What? That's just so stupid. Why would you name him Robin John Blake? That has to be the worst name ever. There was so little respect. Like, you couldn't go on Wikipedia and look up Robin's name. This is probably one of the worst Nolan movies. And I feel like Nolan is most at home in his own stuff, in his like Inception or Memento. The structure is tighter, you know, it feels a lot better made and better written. And this movie, it seems very disorganized. It kind of has 3 acts, but it's so messy, and the whole thing in the prison, that just felt too ludicrous and ridiculous. And the movie gives up logic. Why would all the cops go into the sewer? Like, that just, you're gonna send all the cops? Like, literally all the cops? Like, there was nothing else going on? There's just too many lapses in logic. It just gets stupid and stupider. I don't think it's as good as The Dark Knight or Batman Begins. I think this is the worst of the 3. I think it's one of Nolan's worst films. He needs to find stuff that he is passionate about. The thing about Nolan is this. There are people who think they're great directors throughout the history of film who were great directors and believed it, and they had egos that were tremendous and probably more than Chris Nolan can even dream of. But the thing is that they were great directors, and Christopher Nolan thinks he's a great director, and there's a big difference. Alright, so if you have seen The Dark Knight Rises and you would like to talk about it, then comment below in the comments, but please be nice, and subscribe if you would like to. Just if you're wondering, my favorite Batman movie is Mask of the Phantasm. So,